Hello and welcome to Katrinas Creations. This is episode 415 and I have a finished object. I finished the throw for my granddaughter. So it is completed at this point. So here it is. I made it only a little bit bigger than last week. So all total, it is about 3 feet across and probably about 4 feet long. So it's more of a lapgan type of size, but at the narrowness of it, I was afraid to make it a whole lot longer that it would look more like an oversized scarf. So yeah, I decided to stop at that point. So that is finished. Now I have my scrappy blanket or poncho that I'm working on. Let me hold this up so I can show you where I was since last week. So here it is, and last week I was right at this red line right here, right there. So I've gone, oops, part of the yarn just went. I've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows since last week, and it's getting there size-wise. I don't have a whole lot more scrap yarn to go. If you watched the video a couple Fridays ago where I was talking about short rows and I showed that blue and white shawl, I actually ripped that shawl out because I hardly ever wore it. And I put some of the blue that you see in this is what came off of that. So I only have like 3 more little balls of yarn from that, and then I have some white, and then I've used up all of my scrap yarn. So this is what it looks like so far. And I think it's going to be perfect. Let's see if I can stand up just a hair so you can see. So it is down to about my waist at this point, so it's about the perfect length. And it is rectangular because I don't like ponchos that come to a point because they always, I don't know, they don't do me any favors. This type I could almost, like I said, attach and make it a shirt if I wanted to. But I'd have to wear a t-shirt underneath it. So anyway, there is that. And the sweater I am wearing today is actually a crocheted, it's all done in double crochet. There it is, and it's a wool, it's a chocolate wool, but it's not scratchy. And the buttons that I have here, those were handmade by Demetra, which you've probably seen her name in Show and Tell before. She lives up in Canada, and she actually made these herself, not herselves. She made them herself. Yes, so yes, thank you once again, Demetra. It was nice today because it was warmer than it has been. We are expecting another snowstorm coming through, but I was able to wear this today without a heavy coat because it was wool. So that's what I'm wearing right now. And then I started a new project since I finished my knitting from last week, which was the throw. I started a sweater. This yarn is Knit Picks Brava. It is 100% acrylic, but it's like a premium acrylic. This particular color is called Buttercream, and it is a 4 weight, so it's worsted weight. So I did modify, I'm going to show you what pattern I'm making with this. There's 218 yards per skein. When I bought this, I only bought 5 skeins, which totals up to 1,090 yards. So I had to be very careful over which patterns I picked to make with this. I knew I would not be able to make a crochet top out of that, not with that amount, not with the amount of yardage that I need. Yes, you know. So anyway, so I'm going with knitted, and I looked through some of my patterns. This is a pattern I have made before, but I still ended up modifying it a little bit because when I looked at the size that I thought I was going to need, I started making it and I thought this looks awfully big, and it called for, I believe it was US 6 or US 7 needles for it. Well, partway through, I looked at it and I thought, this is never going to be enough. I'm not going to have enough yarn for this. And it just seems like it's awfully big going all the way around because it is knit from the bottom up. So I took it off the needles and it was probably this much too big. Like I could gather it up in a hunk and it was going to be way too big. So what I did, I went down 2 sizes, but I went up 1 needle size because the yarn was extremely dense that was being knit with, I believe it called for US 7s or 6, like I said, 6s or 7s. I went up 1 size because you can see this is still pretty dense. It's not like you can see through it or anything, but it was really thick, and this is going to be a summer tee, so I didn't want something really, really thick and dense. It was going to be a little too warm. So like I said, I ripped it out. I went down 2 sizes in the pattern, and I went up 1 size by the needles. And then once I got a little ways into it, I did a gauge check, and I measured how many stitches this direction I was getting to the inch. And then I multiplied that by the number of stitches I had on my needles, and it should work out. So yeah, if you ever wonder how to do gauge check, that's how you do it. You check how many stitches you're getting per inch and then multiply it by the number of stitches. Well, you're going to divide it. I'm sorry, not multiply. You're going to divide it. In this case, I was getting, I believe it was 5 stitches to the inch. And so I counted the number of stitches I had, which I think is 216. I think it's 216. The original size I was working on called for, it was like 260 some, so I ended up taking off quite a bit. Yeah, so you do that and figure out how many inches it's going to be. So what this pattern is, it is an Annie's craft store pattern. It's a signature pattern, and it is called the Chamisol. I have made these twice before. One I never wear because it's got itchy wool in it, and every time I put it on, it's not so much the wool, it has tinsel in it, so it has, or not tinsel, stellina, has sparkly stuff in it. Every time I wear it, I itch like crazy. So as a result, I never wear it. But this is one that's in cotton, and like I said, this is a pattern that's knit from the bottom up. Now this one I did not do the dropped stitches in. Here you can see the dropped stitches. I am not a huge fan of dropped stitches. It calls for it a couple times. I didn't bother because I really don't care for them, but I didn't want to rip out what I already had. So the thing I like about this pattern is it's very flattering. It has nice fluffy, like wing-like sleeves, which are nice. And I like this little detail at the front, this little gathered type of detail. I like that as well because I just think it's very flattering. It's very feminine looking. So yeah, so this is what it's called. It's what it looks like. And it is, again, called the Chamisol. And I will put it down below here, who the designer is, because I think it's Fagerson. I could be wrong. Anyway, I'll stick it down below who the designer is. But again, it is over on Annie's Craft Store, and it's one of their signature designs. So that is what I have been working on this week. Now, before I go on to show and tell, I did want to mention the scrap along. As you can see, I'm making my scrappy poncho, and we have a scrap along running just a few more weeks. It ends the end of this month, and in order to enter, all you have to do is make a project of any kind, knitted, crocheted, Tunisian crocheted, whatever, using bits of leftover yarn. So if you've got mini skeins, you can use those. If you want to incorporate mini skeins along with a full skein, you can do that. Anything as long as it's technically scrappy yarn that's been used, you know, you don't have like a full skein. You can add a full skein to it, but it has to have at least mini skeins or little bits and pieces that you add in there. It could even be something like amigurumi where you've used some of your stash to make them with. Anything like that. Yeah, so, and to enter, all you need to do is either contact me at KatrinasCreations@yahoo.com, or you can post on my Facebook page, which is Katrina Knits. Just make sure you tell me that it is for the scrap along so I don't get it mixed up with show and tell items. So now that being said, that's what I've been working on this week. What have you been working on? So one of our viewers, Mary, sent me an email and told me about 2 new websites. I don't know how new they are, but they're new to me, that she had run across, and they're definitely worth checking out. One is called Ribbler, and I'll put the spelling here, Ribbler. It is a free, it's a free site. It operates similar to Ravelry. It has a lot of free patterns, and yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. It has some that you can buy, but it also has some that you can, you know, get for free, but you can also like record your yarn stash in it. You can keep track of your projects. You can do pretty much all the things you could do with Ravelry, but this one's called Ribbler. So that's one to check out. And then there's another one that is an e-magazine. It's called Knitty. Yeah, it's just knitty.com, and that is an e-magazine, and they have some free patterns in there as well, and I think it comes out quarterly, something like that. I didn't see anything that said you had to pay for anything. I think it's a free magazine as far as I know, from what I could look at, so those are 2 things to check into. Now, if you missed yesterday's video, you can click the link right here, and that will take you over to it. Jane Daniel, who exchanged the Yarn Advent Calendar with me, she was our guest on Getting to Know You on that segment. And you also saw my fiber faux pas that I did when I accidentally felted a project. So yeah. And if you would like to participate in the Getting to Know You segment, where you just answer 10 fiber related questions and send me some pictures. If you have a YouTube channel, it's a good way for free advertising also. But it just gives us a chance to get to know you a little bit better. If you are interested in participating, just send me an email at KatrinasCreations@yahoo.com. Let me know you're interested, and I will send you the set of 10 questions that you need to answer for it. So this Friday's video, Dave and I, our anniversary was this past Wednesday, but we had some other commitments on that day. We did go out to eat, but we decided that we were going to, since the weather was nice in between snowstorms and ice storms, we were going to go away for the day up to Lancaster and hit some stores, and we went out to dinner, and we got a bunch of stuff to eat that we shouldn't have. But anyway, that is going to be Friday's video because we took you guys along with us. So yeah, Friday's video, we will be showing you around Lancaster and where we went and what we got. So now it's time for... Now in our Come and Get It section, I don't have a huge amount of sales right now, but I'll let you know what I've got. The first one is Lion Brand. They are having Super Bowl Sunday, which is 59% off of their clearance items. It ends on Sunday. So yeah, it's basically today and tomorrow. But again, it is 59% off of clearance. So that might be something worth checking out. I'm going to be scoping it out and see what's on there. To my knowledge, you do not need to use a coupon code. I think everything's already been marked down. So that is Lion Brand. Mary Maxim, now through Monday, they are offering $4.99 flat rate shipping on any purchases that total over $40. So $40 plus as far as buying stuff, and you can get $4.99 for flat rate shipping. It's in the US only, so that ends on the 10th, which will be Monday. Knit Picks, their yarn of the month is Swish, which comes in different weights and everything. So that is 20% off of their Swish. They also are having 20% off of fixed circular needles. So they're not the interchangeable. They're like these. These are fixed. They don't untwist. The cords are permanently attached, which in some ways are my favorites because they don't get hung up. Sometimes the interchangeables snag up a little bit. So anyway, 20% off of fixed circular needles. We Crochet, which is the sister company to Knit Picks, their yarn of the month is Wool of the Andes, and that also comes in several different weights of yarn, and it is, of course, wool. And so it is 20% off of Wool of the Andes. So those are the sales that I know about right now. Make sure you tune in on Friday to see Dave and mine's adventure in Lancaster. It's actually Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but if you say Lancaster, people look at you funny, so you have to say Lancaster, and then they know what you're talking about. It's just a local way of how people pronounce it around here. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. It does help the analytics for YouTube. And if you haven't already, click that little red subscribe button down below, and then the bell-shaped icon next to it, and then click all, and that'll let you know whenever I post a video, which is Friday and Saturday and any other time I run across a really good yarn sale. So that's it for today. Thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful and safe weekend, and I'll see you again on Friday. Bye, everybody.